Hello, welcome to Michelle Sews again. I'm Michelle. It's Friday, so you know what that means. It's another hashtag Friday Sews. I am going to be telling you about things that I've made, things that are coming up next, and a little bit about life. If that sounds interesting to you, then please stay tuned. First of all, I'd like to thank Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room for starting the hashtag. If you're not already following, then please do a quick search in the YouTube search bar for Friday Sews. You're going to meet all kinds of lovely makers that will share the same kind of things that I'm going to share with you today. Okay, so what have I made this week? So I didn't actually make anything new, but I did work on a couple of things. So the first thing that I did was I refashioned my Valley dress, my Pattern Fantastique Valley dress. Here's what it looked like before, and here's what it looks like now. So I had mentioned last week that I love this dress. I think that it's beautiful. I absolutely love the fabric that I used. I just don't wear the dress. It's just a little bit too, it's not casual enough for me and my lifestyle. And I just don't wear it. I've worn it once since I made it. And I love the fabric so much. And I do love the Valley as a shirt. I've made a couple of them. And so my plan was to take the skirt part off and rehem it and make it a blouse, which is what I did. And I could not be happier. I am going to wear this thing so much more often now. And I really was anxious to get it done because I'm going on a trip for work next week. And I thought this will be great for me to take along. So I really love this fabric, and I want to get more fabric like this. I got it from Style Maker Fabrics last year. I had a birthday voucher, so I bought it with my birthday voucher, and I love it. I'd love to know your thoughts on it. All right, the second thing that I tried to do was I acknowledged that my Style Arc Kent Tunic is a little roomy. However, I like the way that it fits in the bust area, so I wouldn't size down. When I make it again, which I'm going to, I've already mentioned I'm going to make it with this fabulous fabric that I got from Trish. When I make it with that, I won't size down, but I will grade down. And I've got to think about how to do that because I attempted to take the side seams in last night, and because it's got kind of a scooped, I don't know what you call that, kind of a hem, where it's like, you know, it's kind of scooped on the sides and it's a high-low. I couldn't just take the side seams in straight down because then the front and the back wouldn't match. So I attempted to do kind of like a, take it in kind of curved, where it would like ease in at the waist, but still like fit under the arms and still have the same, still meet at the side seams at the bottom. Well, that didn't really work. I was smart enough to baste it in place first and not just jump in and stitch it and serge it. So I basted it in place. I used my French seam curve so that it was a nice straight, like kind of just nipped in waist. And although it fit in the waist, it did some kind of funky bunching up in the back over my butt, and that's because my butt sticks out, so I assume I would need to do a sway back adjustment. I have no idea how to do that, and I don't have the patience for it. So I took the basting stitches out, and it is what it is for now. So I'm still gonna wear that top the way that it is. I still like it, but yeah, that one didn't work out. And then the other thing that I worked on this week, if you follow on Instagram, then you'll have seen that I've been putting up different batches of my dye swatches. So it took me 3 batches to do it. And I just want to share, I'll show you a couple of the shots of the batches. And now I want to share some of my favorites. So a lot of people, when they make swatches with their dye, they mix the dye up as liquid and dye it and do the swatches that way. because I rarely ever do liquid dyeing, I almost always do ice dyeing, I decided to do my swatches the same way that I use the dye. And I will tell you, and you'll see in a minute, the reason why I prefer ice dyeing. But the liquid dye mixes the dye up completely and you get one solid color. It's a very beautiful process. I love the ice dyeing because for colors that are not primary colors, a lot of times what the ice does is it pushes the dye through and it kind of breaks up it's called splits. They're called color splits, where you can actually see the colors of what has gone into the dye color mixture. So some of these will show that and some of them won't, but I kind of decided to pick like my favorite out of each color family. So, you know, the whole Roy G. Biv families, and I'll just show you. So my favorite red pink is this dragon fruit color. And some of these you won't see color splits, but you will see variations in depth of color. And this is one of those. So this is dragon fruit. And this is my favorite hot pink color. And you can see there's some like light pink in there. There's the darker shade. So I kind of got all the different variations of the color that this dye will produce. My favorite orange so far, and these are my favorites out of the colors that I own. My favorite orange is tangerine, and look how fun that one is. Some of these will be beautiful as a single color dyed garment as well. And I think tangerine could be one of those. What do you think? All right, parakeet was interesting. So parakeet is a blue, and you can see like the blue right in the middle, but then you see this kind of like almost olivey kind of a green with like a turquoise blue. Some of these I will tell you, because I had my swatches kind of close to each other. Anytime you see like a blotch of color on the edge, it's either that it was a blotch of the dye for this color, or I had it a little too close to the swatch next to it. So I feel like I can tell which ones are color splits and which ones are just from the next color over. And I think this one's probably from the next color over because it's in one single spot. The rest of these, I think, the rest of these are clearly color splits where they all kind of come from the same dye batch. So that one's kind of interesting. I have a couple of blues here. A lot of the blues and a lot of the blues had some purple splits, and a lot of the purples had some blue splits, which I thought was fun. This one is ice blue, and I just thought that was gorgeous. Can you see the kind of lilac-y color coming out of there, and then the different depths of blue? And a lot of these are going to have white splotches because I didn't saturate the swatch. All right, this one is brilliant blue, and you can see a lot of like really like brilliant blue as well. I don't know if you can tell, there's some purples in there. Peony to me is more of a pink, but it's in the purple family according to Dharma. So this one is kind of a magenta-y kind of a pink, and you can see some, I don't know if those are blue or purple splits in there, but there's definitely some other colors splitting out there. To me, the reason I'm showing you these next three all together is because I really don't see a difference in them. So, and I found that with several of my colors. There's a couple of oranges that I don't see a difference in, but what I thought was interesting here is they all kind of also, not only is the base color similar, but the color splits are pretty similar. And this is hydrangea, lavender, and lilac. And you see how similar all of those are? There's probably a smidge of difference between them, but honestly, any one of them would do the job if that's the look you were going for, because the difference is negligible. Now, with that said, how gorgeous is this with the purple and the blue split? Oh my gosh, totally love it. But so that just means that I have 3 pots of dye that will do the same thing. Now, the only other thing I would say is I I don't know about you, but I always envision lavender and lilac as very kind of soft purples. These are not as light and soft as I would expect, which kind of, the fact that I did these swatches explains why I don't necessarily get the look that I'm going for when I do like more. I've done a couple of projects where I did more lavender or more lilac, expecting to get that softer purple, and I didn't get it. Okay, so this next group of colors it's gonna surprise you guys because these are some of my favorites. And it's really because these are where I get the most color splits, and I just find it so fascinating, and they're absolutely gorgeous. Even though these colors are not my usual poppy, bright colors, I believe you will agree with me that these are absolutely gorgeous. These are all from the neutral families. So this is ecru. Can you believe this? This is from a color called ecru, and these are all color splits that you get out of there. So there's like browns and oranges and some grays, and I just think that color split is just absolutely gorgeous. This would be one that would be beautiful as a single color project. This one I just showed because it's the only other neutral that I have, but this one doesn't really do color splits. And this is called Silver Lining, and it's just silver. Okay, this next one, oh my gosh. Unbelievably gorgeous. This is pewter. Look at all of the dimension in there. It looks kind of like slate, maybe? Is that the word I'm looking for? Like slate that you would find out in nature. Oh my God, isn't it gorgeous? Okay. Shiitake mushroom. Look at all those different colors. You wouldn't expect this. Like, you hear shiitake mushroom, and you just wouldn't expect it to be this interesting and fascinating. Love it. Love it. All right, so this one is one that was, it was affected by a color next to it. However, so the orange is not part of the color split on this. This is brushed steel. So I think I'm probably gonna do another swatch just so I can have a pure one, but ignore the orange, and the rest of it is the brushed steel. So you can see how gorgeous. It's got some purples in there, some dark grays, some dark blues. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. And then this is terracotta. Look at all it's got oranges and like kind of berry colors, a little bit of purple in there. Isn't that fascinating? I just love it. And then this one's gonna blow your mind. This is Raven Black. Look at all those color splits. Love it, love it, love it. So that was a project that took me several nights. My first couple of batches, I was trying to dry them out on the balcony. So I had them all, you know, dyed and rinsed, and I had them laid out on a towel on a kind of a coffee table that I have out on my balcony. And it's been storming here every single day since Saturday. And so I put them out there, and it kept storming in the afternoon, so they kept getting soaking wet again. So finally I brought it took me like 2 or 3 days to figure out I needed to bring the coffee table inside. So I brought it in, they dried overnight, and that's the only place I had to lay out my swatches to dye. So I couldn't even start my next batch until the first batch was dry and I could fold them and take them off the table. So once I figured that out, then I was good to go. And I made a batch a night, because you have to leave them to process for 24 hours. So I would dye them, leave them to process, and then rinse them the next night and start another batch. So it took me, 3 or 4 nights to get them all done. And now I have a full swatch collection of all my dyes. There's a couple of them that, like I said, on the brushed steel that got pretty contaminated from a neighbor. I have a couple more like that I'll probably just redo those handful so that I have better swatches. But this I'm very excited about because now I can really lay out my color palettes for my projects and not guess based on the name of the color as to what I'm putting together. So there was one color that surprised me because I've only used it once and I didn't like it at all. But now that I've seen it in a swatch, it's because of what I had it combined with that it just didn't go with. And that is Better Blue Green. And I just thought it was an ugly, dark blue green. And now that I've seen it by itself, it's actually a beautiful color. And so I'll know how to pair it now and get some use out of it. Okay, so that's all that I've made this week. What's next? So as I mentioned, I'm going to be traveling for work next week. So I need to spend tomorrow and I need to make I have two tops that I want to make. They're both easy tops to make. I should be able to bang them out tomorrow, no problem. The first one I mentioned last week, and that is the Bellbird top. I've already got it. You know, I have my Bellbird top pattern adjusted the way that I like it. In fact, I'm wearing one right now. And I'm gonna make it in that beautiful viscose. I can't show you right now because it's in the dryer. It's the large scale floral print that I'm gonna make it in, and I'm super excited about that. That should whip up super easy. And then the other one I'm gonna make is the Courtney top that I had made last week that didn't come out because I made it out of a thrifted sheet that was just off grain, and so it didn't really work. But I love the pattern and I'm gonna make it again, and I'm gonna dye it again. And now that I have all my swatches, I'm really anxious to make one. And what I'm gonna do this time is very similar to what I did with my sweatshirt dress. It was the Stylark Anderson knit dress where I cut the pattern pieces out and then I dyed them all. I dyed them in the same batch, but I did different folds for each pattern piece. So they were all in the same color family, but the pattern design was different on each piece. So it had two front panels, just like this Courtney top does. It had the center panel, it had the back, so and it had the sleeves. Now this one doesn't have separate sleeves, but I'm definitely gonna take the two side panels, I'll fold them together. I'll take the center panel, fold it. I have the back, I'll fold it. And all of those pieces will be folded in a different manner. And then they'll all be dyed with the same color assortment. I don't know, maybe I'll mix it up. Who knows, we'll see. So I'm excited about that one. So I'm probably gonna sew that one first so I have time to put it in a dye process, and then I'll move on to the Bellbird. So I should be able to finish both of those tomorrow, I would think. I would start on them tonight, but I'm not feeling so well today. So I'm gonna film this video, I'm gonna film my other video, I'm gonna edit them, and I'm gonna chill for the rest of the night. All right, not this weekend, but in the near future, I need to start making some leggings. So I've mentioned in the past that I had no interest in making leggings. And that was true at the time because I have a slew of Old Navy black leggings that I've had forever. And I wear them all the time, like literally every night. I sleep in them and I wear them all day. Like that's my kind of uniform that I wear with my tops. When I'm on, you know, video calls and things, I wear a cute top and I have my black leggings. My problem is that I bought all of the leggings all around the same time, and I don't know when, but it's been a very, very long time that I've had them. And that's starting to be evident because the back seam on my rear end is starting to split and come open. So I was wearing a pair last night. I woke up this morning and yeah, I was exposing. Thank God I was home, but the whole back side was exposed. And that's not the first pair it's the first pair that's been that extreme. All the other ones have little small you can see they're starting to wear. And so yeah, I need to ditch all of them, and I might as well explore making a pair. So I did buy a Style Arc pattern. I actually bought it from Amazon, so it's actually a printed pattern, so I don't have to send it off to pattern PDF plotting to get it printed. And like I said, I'm not going to make that this weekend. First of all, I'm not going to have the pattern yet, and second of all, I have no idea what kind of fabric to use. So I would love for you to give me suggestions in the comment box about what is the best fabric to use for leggings. Now, these are for casual leggings that I would wear like under tunics and to sleep in. I'm not looking for like athletic wear they're not performance leggings. So I don't need ultra performance fabric. I want comfortable, casual knit fabric, but that is sturdy enough to use for leggings. So let me know your thoughts on that below. So that's kind of all I got going on in the sewing world. Life, let's see. So my husband and I went and checked out the house last weekend, and while we had been sent a picture of the slab had been poured, which I shared with you guys last week, when we were very pleasantly surprised on Saturday to see them actually working on the house on a Saturday, and the cinder block walls were like halfway up. Didn't know that was happening that soon, so we're super excited about that. And we had our construction call with the contractor or the foreman. I'm not sure exactly what his position is, but we had the call with him on Tuesday, and he kind of updated us on the process and what we can expect in terms of touch point meetings and things like that. And he also gave us an estimate of when he thinks our closing date might be. He can't make any promises because supply chain issues and stuff. He said the good news is they're not having any labor shortage issues right now, and that the supply chain issues are primarily centered around the HVAC process. So he said, right now the framing part, that goes up fast, and then the HVAC is what's been kind of halting construction on a lot of houses. He's had customers that have had to wait a month and a half to 2 months, and their house is just like at a standstill because the HVAC stuff wasn't in, and that he can't move forward on any part of the house until all the ductwork and everything like that for the HVAC is in and ready to be installed. He did say that they have just recently changed HVAC contractors. It's all in the emphasis. He did say that they've changed contractors for the HVAC construction and our suppliers, and that we may or may not experience those delays that some of his other customers have experienced because they just started using them. So fingers crossed that we won't have those delays. But regardless, he said, worst case scenario that he can envision right now, barring any new kind of delays that they haven't seen yet, we're looking at end of December, end of January for closing. If we don't experience those HVAC delays, then we're looking at end of November. End of November would actually be perfect timing for us because our lease at this apartment is up in December. So that would give us that month to get the house prepped, because we have some things we want to do. Like I want to do some wallpaper and paint in my sewing room. My husband's man cave, we want to decorate like in a Ravens theme. And we've got to put ceiling fans and light fixtures in. So that'll give us time to get all that stuff done and to, pack and hire movers and stuff. So I'm fingers crossed for November. All right. So then the other thing that happened this week is I met a new friend. Hi, Mary Ellen. So Mary Ellen is a viewer of my channel, which I'm ever so grateful for everybody who takes the time to view my videos. And she was going to be in town visiting family, and she reached out to me and asked if I would have time to meet. And anytime that I have the time and I'm able to do it, I love to meet you guys. So we met up at a Dunkin' Donuts, and we chatted for a couple of hours and just had a really nice time. She is such a lovely woman, and we have a lot in common. We talked a lot about fabric dyeing. She took a 1-week, 5-day course on ice dyeing, and I'm so jealous. She did that, I don't know when, but we talked a lot about it, and she made a couple of book recommendations, which I've already ordered both books, and one of them came today, and it's this Color by Design by Ann Johnston, and it's paint and print with dye, and I am really excited to read through this and learn some new dyeing techniques, and I can't wait to get the other book. So really excited about that, and really had a lovely time meeting Mary Ellen, and if any of you are ever in South Florida, then let me know, and maybe we'll have time to meet up. That would be awesome. Like I mentioned, I am traveling for work next week, so I have some things I've got to finish up here and get ready for that. I'm going to be gone Sunday through Friday. So it's going to be a long week. The other thing, so I have been contemplating, I've wanted a dog for so long, but my husband and I have lived in places where that wasn't an option. And we decided that when we moved in here, although it's an option here, we're like, we should just wait until we move into the house. That'll give the dog a yard to play in. But I've been contemplating it lately just because of my health journey. And the fact that I am getting out and walking more, I was like, man, having a dog would really, it might encourage me to get out and walk more often because you kind of have to. And it would make the walks more enjoyable if I had a little buddy hanging around me. But my dilemma is that I travel, not a ton, but I travel enough for work. And my husband also travels for work. So there are times where we're both gone for like a week at a time, and I don't know, it doesn't feel right to get a dog and then put the poor little thing in boarding, every other month or every so often. I don't know. What are your thoughts? If you have a dog and you travel, how do you deal with that? Let me know. The prompted question for today from Jen. So Jen encourages us all to answer a question every week. It just gives us one extra topic to discuss and kind of brings everybody together talking about the same thing. And this week's question, because Mother's Day is Sunday here in the US, she asks, does your mom sew? Did she teach you, and did you ever sew for her? So yes, my mom did sew when she was alive. She sewed when I was very young. She didn't sew, I don't know, from the time I was in like elementary school on, I don't recall her ever sewing, but I do have examples of when I was little where I'm wearing a dress and my mom said, oh yeah, I made those for you and your sister. So I'll pop a picture up here. My sister and I were wearing the same dress in this family photo. Mine was in red gingham and hers was in blue gingham. Had the little rickrack and the ruffle. It was kind of like it was a maxi dress. It was, but I don't remember ever seeing her sew. So no, she is not the one that taught me. I learned at school, as I've mentioned before. And have I ever sewn for her? I don't think that I did. Well, I take that back. I made an art quilt for her in the 90s. And if I have a picture of it, I'll put it up here. I think I have a picture, I'm not sure. But that's the only thing I've ever sewn for her. But I did sew for my grandmother a few things. I made her a dress. I made her a handbag, a cloth handbag. Yeah, that's all I can remember making for other people. I've never really been big on sewing for other people. And now I'm trying to pick back up and remember to do my YouTube shout out. And this week I would like to shout out V from 85th and WAIWT. So she has a pretty small channel right now, but she's fairly recent. She's been doing this a couple of months now. And she's like really enjoyable to watch. I think some of my favorite people to watch are those where it feels like you're just sitting down with a friend and talking about sewing, because that's That's why I do this, is to sit down and talk to people about sewing. So I encourage you to go and check out V. I'll link her channel below, but she does a lot of, you know, monthly roundups and pattern reviews and things like that. And I think that you'll enjoy watching her. If you like my channel, I think you'd like hers. So go and check her out and give her a little bit of love. Let me know what you think about her. For those of you that are interested in following along on my weight loss journey, if you're also interested in a health journey and you want to follow along, I always link my new channel in the description box below, but it's called Michelle Loses It. And I hope you'll join me there if you're also on a health journey. Wherever you are, I hope the weather's amazing. I hope you're able to get some sewing in, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.